I have no idea why the other one's not working, but I think we're live here. So let's see if I can get into the chat for this one. The YouTube app is proving to be a nightmare this evening, so we're going to have to give it a minute to let everybody in. Topher, can you be the man who lets the people in the other one know that I'm live on this one and not the one that was actually scheduled? I don't know why the other one won't work. It's infuriating. But we are live. We're not actually due to be live for another minute or so, but I've got to go live early just to make this one exist. I don't know what I've done wrong. I'll probably edit all this out of the replay and we'll do a proper start in a second. You might have to keep jumping back into the other one. Yeah, spam it again in about 5 minutes, Topher, because I've just been in there and there's like 20 people waiting in that one. So fingers crossed it will all get moved over appropriately. Hello everyone, how are we doing? I'm in Bournemouth. Are we all good? Oh, all of a sudden I've got a sniffly nose. I tell you what, it's been absolutely throwing it down with rain for about the last 4 hours and it's just stopped. My hair is a disgrace, but we hopefully will be able to get a bit of a live stream done. I don't know how good the internet is going to be the further we get towards the beach. I was down there yesterday doing a little bit of a test, and certainly once you get to the pier, internet just kind of cuts out. So there's going to become a point between here and there where we start to lose our signal. Maybe, we shall see. But yeah, I am in Bournemouth. I am currently in the upper gardens. We are going to go for a little walk down that way, through the little bit of town centre, down into the lower gardens, down towards the pier, the beach, and have a little mooch around down there. I imagine I'm going to be live for about an hour or so. That's the plan. And we'll just have a little chat while I do it, because why on earth not? How are we all? By the way, YouTube partnership came through this morning. So this channel, after 24 days, has officially been partnered and is monetized, which is awesome. I've never known a channel go from zero to that as quickly as it has. So big thank you to everybody who's enjoyed the content so far, especially the last couple of videos from Skegness over the last few days. They've gone absolutely bonkers. About half of the lifetime views of the channel have happened in the last 2 days, because everything just kind of went cuckoo bananas over the last couple of days. I think everything we thought was happening in the algorithm on the old channel seems like it came true, because as soon as we got a remotely clickbaity new video on the new channel, it's got absolutely wild, which is awesome. But hopefully you can hear me okay. Can you still hear me if I come all the way over here? Hello. I think you can hear me, I think you can see me. This is the same setup that we had when we were in Skegness, so hopefully all is good, and fingers crossed I should be able to pick you up, tilt the camera around a little bit, and get used to doing this again. There you go, we are on the move. So similar to what we did with the Skegness live stream, we're just going to have a little bit of a wander around, have a little bit of a chat. This is, if you know Bournemouth, this is where we are. This is the upper gardens, and then we're going to get a little bit further on up here, just poke our heads up into the town centre for a moment, then duck down into the lower gardens, which then take us down towards the seafront. Anyone who's worried about the thumbnail and all that kind of stuff, I'll be swapping all that over just as soon as I get back to where we're staying. For some reason, there we go. For some reason, the scheduled version of this live stream would not show up on my phone. I was looking on all of my scheduled streams, it just would not show up. I went into the YouTube dashboard and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't showing on there. So the only place I could see it was as a viewer on the channel homepage. So I don't know if that's because it could be something as simple as we set that up before the channel was added to the monetization partnership thing, and now we've been added to it, maybe something, I don't know, YouTube things. We don't need to understand the technicalities. All we need to know is, for the moment, we've got a dodgy thumbnail, no title, no description. Everything we've learned about SEO in the last 3 weeks to push the channel on as quickly as we have was for nothing, because this is just Kevin Chapman has gone live. Right, as promised, we are going to emerge up into the town centre briefly. I do have my other phone handy as well, so I should be able to keep up with the chat, hopefully. If you are just joining us because of the kerfuffle around me not going live on the correct stream, welcome. We will be chatting as we go, but yeah, here we are, having a little bit of a look at Bournemouth town centre, up that way, and then wandering around here as well. And in just a moment, we are going to duck back down into the gardens again. We don't want to be around loads of traffic, because who wants to be around loads of traffic? Crossing the road with Kev. That's a channel. Maybe we should do a road crossing channel. So, heading off around here towards our first little sign that this isn't just a normal town centre, as it starts to get a little bit touristy, because we have this kind of permanent market tourist trap situation here. We've got this little carousel. By the way, this floor is soaking wet and so slippery. It has been raining all afternoon. There were moments when I thought I might have to cancel the stream because it's been so wet, but luckily we seem to be okay at the moment. If it starts raining the way it did before, we will cut it short again. But yeah, you've got all of these little hair braiding, sunglasses, wind chime. Like I say, very much shops for the tourists. Up the top here in these little wooden huts. As far as I'm aware, they're there permanently. They're certainly always there whenever I'm here. And then you've got the other half of the town centre up there and the bus station. Round that way, cinema, various shops and things up there. But this is where we're heading, down into the lower gardens, because this is probably, no, definitely the most scenic route to a beach I've been to in the UK, because we get to walk through this lovely park which has a lovely stream running through it, some lovely public toilets over there with blue light in them so you can't see your veins. That's when you know you're in a classy seaside place, and it is just nice and pretty. You do know there's thunderstorms heading your way. I think we've had them. I've been very much watching the weather for the last 3 or 4 hours. I think we've had the worst of the weather. It was absolutely chucking it down up until probably 6:20, 6:30, and then it has just cleared. If it does start to get really, really, really rainy again, I've got an umbrella with me, so we'll try using that, but there's only so much you can keep the gear dry, so we might have to either find some shelter or abandon. It's 37 degrees in Barcelona. I wouldn't like that. That sounds too hot for me. It's like 23 here, and when I was running through the rain up that hill earlier on, I'm going to say it was, I got a sweat on, but it might have just been that I was getting really wet in the rain. They aren't permanent, they're just for the tourist season. Okay, so as far as I need to know, as very much a tourist, they are permanent for me. This little bit over here, I mean, I used to come here every summer as a kid. We always used to camp in the New Forest, and we'd always come into this park. Every Wednesday night when I was a kid in this park, they used to do candle lighting. So they'd have loads of like art, I guess you would call it, pictures that were made up of different coloured jam jars with candles in, and you'd go and queue up around the back over here, get yourself a little lighting stick that you'd set fire to and just go around and light the candles, and it was really, really, really cool. But they don't seem to have any of the stuff in there for that anymore. One thing I've noticed, we've been down on the south coast for the last, when did we come down? Monday. We've gone to lots of places where I spent a lot of time when I was younger, and the one thing I am noticing, someone's saying hello because I think they thought the camera was pointing at them. One thing I am noticing is so much of what made these holidays great has gone. I remember on the Skegness live stream, I did describe Bournemouth as my favourite seaside town. I think it probably still is, but the whole area has lost some of what made it great as it's become, I guess, more organised, more business-like. Let's have a little look what's going on in the chat. If you're there tomorrow, there's fireworks at the beach at 9 p.m. tomorrow. Yes, they've been a thing, again, for as long as I can remember. We always used to do them as a kid as well. So we're actually going home tomorrow. By tomorrow evening, I'll be in a hotel in London because I've got to go down to London a day early for AEW All In because there's train strikes on Saturday, so I can't get down there at all on Saturday. So we're driving back all the way back home tomorrow morning. I've then got about 8 hours at home to wash all my stuff, repack my bag, schedule some videos for next week, and then I'm on the last train to London before the strikes begin, getting into London super late tomorrow night, and then I'll do Global Go Fest around London on Saturday, and then I've got AEW on for Sunday. How close is the New Forest to Bournemouth? Super duper close. 15-20 minutes, not very far at all. Where's the stadium? Bournemouth Stadium is, assuming it's in, I've been there multiple times back, like for posh away games, back when they were down at our level. Assuming it's not moved, and I don't think it has, I think they just rotated the pitch. It's actually over in Boscombe rather than in Bournemouth itself. So if you look at a map, you've got, in fact, I can show you when we get down to the beach because you can see Boscombe Pier from Bournemouth, but it's basically 2 miles that way to get to Boscombe, and then it's back a bit in this big sports complex thing, is where the stadium is. So I don't think it moved. It may well have moved, but the last time I went, that's where the stadium was. So we're not quite where the stadium is at the moment. Stadium is about 15 minutes from the centre of town. There you go. Which, is it still where I described? This place is better than Skegness. Yeah, of course it is. When I was doing the Skegness video, in fact, no, when I was doing the Skegness live stream, I was asked what's my favourite seaside town, because we titled the Skegness live stream, is it the worst seaside town in the UK? And one of the questions someone asked was what was my favourite one, and the reason we're here now is because I said, actually, I think it's probably Bournemouth. So we came to Bournemouth to check. I've stopped here because we have got mini golf, which I used to love this as a kid. No, I'm not going to Copper Box on Saturday. By the time I realised I'd be in London early, the Copper Box thing was all sold out, so I'm not going to go there. Mini golf's closed, Topher. I can't do mini golf. However, a little bit further down, which I did notice when I was down there yesterday, a little bit further down, there is now adventure golf. So this place is actually billed as, I liked this because I noticed this earlier. We're just going to nip back up this way quickly because this amused me, having seen they now have the adventure golf up by the pier. They might have taken the sign in now. Yeah, they had a little sign out here earlier on. It said something along the lines of golf the traditional way. Their sales pitch being it's not changed in 30 years. Is this the sign? No, this is just some cardboard. But yeah, they're very much trying to sell that on the basis of they've not done anything to it in about 35 years. Oh, there you go, it's on there. Let's play the classic way. It says it up there. Which I'm pretty sure they didn't have that tagline until the new adventure golf one was built further down here on the crumbled remains of what used to be an IMAX cinema and Jumping Jack's nightclub, which is not there anymore. So over there we've got the bandstand. No music playing tonight. Much sadness. There you go. You can play in the footsteps of your golfing heroes. I don't think they mean do that just there. Maybe they do. Let's get the chat back out on my phone again, because I can't keep track of it on the screen on there. This is why we have to double phone it. Yes, it is in Kings Park in Boston. Yeah, I thought that's where it was. So that's where the stadium is. What match am I most looking forward to on Sunday? Personally, for me, it's going to be Stadium Stampede. Probably Adam Cole, MJF, the main event. Why wouldn't I? I mean, I love their whole bit that they've been doing lately. So definitely looking forward to see who turns on who there. Just check Copperbox isn't sold out. It is. I think the only tickets they've got left are, when I looked like a week ago, the only tickets they had left were the disabled tickets, disabled access, when you actually click on it to buy tickets. So it is sold out for general entry. Or at least it was a week ago. They might put more tickets on sale. In which case, I am tempted. I am very tempted. I mean, I'm staying over at Wembley, so it's a bit of a trek to get over to Stratford from Wembley. And I am kind of planning for Sunday's video on this channel to be Pokemon Global Go Fest from Saturday. So my plan is to be out and about in London all day Saturday. Go Fest is 10 till 6. Because the last Go Fest video from London Go Fest did really well. So my plan is get that edited in my hotel room, uploaded and out for Sunday, which will be a challenge if my internet is bad, but will be a double challenge with bells on if I then go to the wrestling on the Saturday night. It basically leaves me with absolutely no way for that to happen. Get 200 likes, you need to go to the stadium. I mean, the stadium is far too far away for me to get to in the next 45 minutes of this live stream. So that's a no-go, I'm afraid. I'd have to jump in an Uber, and even then, with seaside traffic, it would be touch and go. Traffic around Bournemouth is always horrific. But we've got the pavilion ahead of us there, and the now compulsory seaside big wheel. And look at this garden bit here. I say this I mean, it doesn't actually look as colourful on the phone as it does to my eyes. So maybe my colour blindness just makes it look cool. But yesterday, in the bright sunshine looking at this, you definitely could have fooled me into thinking I was somewhere fancy and foreign. Less so in the drizzly rain at dusk, like we've got today. We could get churros. They've got churros over there, everybody. I love churros. Right, we've got some kind of performance going on here, which I'm really hoping isn't going to be doing copyright music. It's going to get me struck off of the partner program the day I get added to it. The disabled ones do show first, but there's a map to select tickets. I really don't think I can. I've got to get this video edited on Saturday night, unless Topher's going to come with me and sit in the hotel editing my Pokemon video while I go to the wrestling. Ronnie Edwards is signing for Ipswich. Is that actually happening? Or is that just what you want to see happen? Because I'm surprised if that's where he ends up. I could get it with Jack Taylor, but Ronnie Edwards should be going straight to a top 6 Premier League club. Right, we are going to make our way past this performance, which is going on here, which is probably very loud. We are going to get the other side of it quickly. So if you can't hear anything but that for a minute, my apologies. Let's try and get over here where it might be a little bit quieter. My, that was loud. So, we've ignored the upside down house. There you go. It wasn't that loud for you. This microphone setup is good stuff. Just like in Skegness, the rules of the seaside now, you have to have an upside down house and you have to have a big wheel. Otherwise, are you even the seaside? I am very impressed that that music's not loud for you, because seriously, it is deafening. I can't hear myself speak at the moment, and I'm quite far away from it now. What a microphone. What a setup. Right, let's continue our tour. So over here, we've got the new golf, which, for those of you who are local, it shows how long it's been since I've been to Bournemouth, because I remember, and it wasn't here for very long, because I remember them building it as well, but there was a massive building sort of here, sort of where I'm standing now, that had a big IMAX cinema, a soft play thing, a bar like 4 floors up with a balcony that looked out over the beach. There was a Jumping Jacks nightclub in there. One of the 4 times in my life I've been inside a nightclub, it was inside a Jumping Jacks nightclub here. Seems it's not here now, but this golf is definitely a step up on the old golf, for sure. Look at it. Much better. Much improvement. Do I like Darren McAntony? I do. Well, I like what he's done for the football club, because when he bought us, we were on the brink, and he's given us 15 years of stability, which is nice as a lower league club. As a person, it seems like he's a bit of a wang jacket, and certainly some of his political views are questionable. We're buffering. I did say that when we got down towards the beach, we might start to struggle a little bit with the signal. So if it is buffering for some of you, my apologies. But it is certainly, once you get out onto the pier, there's not really any signal at all. I couldn't even play Pokemon on that pier yesterday, and we are pretty close to the pier. So let's have a look on my phone. Yeah, we are buffering a little bit. So let's wander down this way a little bit. I know when I went either side of the pier, the signal started to get a little bit better. So fingers crossed, if we get away from the pier, we might stop buffering. Although looking at my other phone, it looks like we might be doing okay now. So over here, you've got where they have the zip line that goes from the end of the pier down onto the beach. I think you should just about be able to see it. Hopefully I'm not going to lose too much in the way of signal by venturing towards it. But there is a zip line from that tower on the end of the pier that comes all the way down onto the beach. I am, unfortunately, over the weight limit for it, so I can't do it myself. I don't think it's open at this time of night either. And there is a little beach bar. Can't take you on the pier because, like I say, we've got no signal over on the pier, so we'll walk down this way a little bit and hopefully maintain some kind of semblance of a phone signal. Harry Ramsden's, which, without wanting to spoil the video too much, because me and Anna did film a video down here yesterday similar to the Skegness one that we did. You probably won't see that for a couple of weeks because there's other bits and bobs coming out between now and then, but me and Anna went into Harry Ramsden's yesterday, which, if it's not the biggest, it must be one of the biggest chip shops in the world. It's enormous. But oh my word, the portion was tiny and it was so expensive. Whew. Oh my word, me and Anna had fish and chips. We had starters. I had some deep fried gherkin. I forget what they called them. What's a deep fried gherkin called? Frickles? I think they're frickles. Fried pickles. We had some frickles. And we did get 2 beverages each because, you know, that's what you have to do. You get a fun drink and a functional drink. So we got water and appetizer. And I think Anna got a mocktail. But bottom line, it was tiny portions of fish and chips and it cost us nearly £60 for 2 of us. Not going back there anytime. It wasn't even that great either. Wasn't even that good. But we've got a nice view of the beach from here. So you've got the pier there. Those clouds look ominous, don't they? And then panning around. So this is what I was talking about before, where you can just about see on the horizon there Boscombe Pier. So that's the next town along. That's actually where Bournemouth's football ground is, down in Boscombe. It's not particularly close to the beach, but it is down that way. There is a land train that runs down there. as well, which is always fun. Again, I don't think it runs at this time of night though. Bournemouth's nothing compared to Skegness. In my opinion, Skegness is better. I mean, I have to call shenanigans on that. I like Skegness. I really, really like Skegness, but there's something about Bournemouth. Especially on a really warm, sunny day. I mean, the beach is lovely. The sand is probably as far as a sandy beach goes, this is probably the nicest sandy beach in England, I would say. I don't know what this is here, by the way. Hold on. I've not seen this before. Electric beach barbecue. Operating times 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So can you just turn up and use an electric beach barbecue? That is amazing. I've never seen these before in my life. So I can just go and grab a pack of sausages and just start cooking them right next to the pier? Why is nobody using these? They're amazing. Right, we're going to wander down to the other side of the pier because I think the phone signal is a little bit better. You pay to use it. There doesn't seem to be anywhere on it to actually pay. There's just an on-off button, unless you have to log in on some kind of app or something, but it doesn't seem obvious that that's what you have to do. Where's the nearest supermarket? I need to go and buy some sausages and just do a cooking stream from Bournemouth Beach. That's amazing. Boscombe Beach is quiet, but not as nice. Yeah, I agree. When we were kids, my dad would always want to take us to Boscombe Beach because it was easier and cheaper to park. The traffic wasn't as bad, and there was less places around here for me and my brother to whine, to spend money. Less arcades, less shops, less stuff to do. So we'd always go down to Boscombe, and we'd always moan because we wanted to come to Bournemouth. So as an adult, even though I'm now older now than my dad was when he was making us go to Boscombe, I've always, whenever we've come to the beach here, been pretty much as close to this pier as possible. That's my my way of paying back young Kev. Yes, there's a Red Arrow simulator behind me. They actually have the Bournemouth Air Show, which is on in like a week. It's usually, in fact, it says there. There's a big sign on this bridge, which you might not be able to see. Bournemouth Air Festival is 20-something of August, 31st of August to the 3rd of September. So they do like their aeroplanes around here. There's the big wheel, which, as I've said before, you've got to have a big wheel if you're at the seaside. And then round here, we can head to the other side of the beach. Is it free to get on the pier at this time of night? Someone's just said in the chat that those barbecues are free, which is amazing. I feel like I should just go and melt something. Tesco's the other side of the gardens. It's a long old walk, isn't it? From here, all the way up to the other side of the gardens again to, we'll just putting you down for a minute to rest the old arms. It's a long walk for me to go and get sausages just to get back here again, especially when my car is parked right at the top of the hill as well. I don't necessarily want to be going up and down that hill another 2 or 3 times just to show you how to cook sausages on an electric barbecue. Just deliver some sausages from Tesco. Now there's an idea. Now there is an idea. Goodness me. Why do I keep my mic inside my t-shirt? Because it protects it from the wind better. If I had it on the outside, I'd have to have one of those big fluffy microphone cover things on, and they fall off and they look stupid. I mean, I don't know if you could, there's no way of me showing you what I'm holding when I'm walking around. I can probably try and angle this. So that's the get-up that I've got. So obviously it's obvious what I'm doing just from that. But if I had a big furry microphone on the front of me as well, it just makes it that bit more obvious. Plus I lose the little fluffy thing, whereas like this, it acts as the wind protection. And it sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds really good. I'm very impressed with this kit that we've got. Lincolnshire sausages from Tesco Finest range. Is that what we're getting? Walked past you when it was raining about 2 hours ago. Are you the person who I heard say, and then turned around and couldn't work out who said it? I was walking that way out through the park, and I heard someone say, "Is that Kevin Chapman?" Because I heard you, if that was you. And I turned around to try and work out where it was coming from, but couldn't work out who'd said it. Should have said hello. Generally, actually, can you do an atmosphere stadium rating? What are we talking about? Oh, stadium rating between Old Trafford, Anfield, Bernabeu and Nou Camp. I've never been to the Bernabeu. I've only been to Old Trafford for a posh playoff final against Huddersfield. So the only one, I've seen Liverpool play at Anfield, I've seen Barcelona play at the Nou Camp. The Nou Camp is louder, but when they're singing You'll Never Walk Alone at Liverpool, that is pretty impressive. The actual best atmosphere that I've been to, though, is Juventus. Juventus was better than both of them. And I've been to all of it. It's not like they were years apart and my memory's failing. I've done Barcelona, Liverpool and Juventus all in the last 6 months or so. And Juventus was definitely the best one. Hello. I'm streaming now.
You're streaming live?
I am streaming live on YouTube.
Way, I'm doing video. Big up the geezers.
There we go.
You here for the fireworks?
Huh?
You here for the fireworks?
Is there fireworks tonight?
Yeah, 10 p.m.
Is it? I thought that was tomorrow.
Nah, we got to talk about some random guy who looked a bit like a pedophile, so he might be lying, but I might get strikes on YouTube. Sorry, lads.
Well, I might well be here for the fireworks then. Cheers. Is the fireworks tonight? I need someone to look it up and let me know if the fireworks are tonight. I am interested. Bleep that, bleep that, bleep that. Goodness me. That, of course, is the problem with being out and about and streaming. I was convinced when two young lads walked over, I was convinced they were flipping the bird at the camera, so they're actually quite pleasant. Apart from the obvious. Let's have a look what else we've got on here. What I was saying before, it is Fridays. I thought it was Fridays, so those lads are literally meeting someone at 10 o'clock, aren't they? Their instincts might have been correct. Should we try again? I really want to take you on the pier, but like I say, the signal on there was non-existent yesterday. And I feel like, you have to pay during the day. I don't know at what time in the evening you don't have to pay to go onto the pier anymore. But I suspect you can probably go on there for free now. But I think the signal will just, if we try. So we'll walk down here a bit, have a look to see what's down this way. What is noticeable between, they should get Wi-Fi on piers, I agree. One of the big differences I'm noticing between here and Skegness is the two seaside places I've done recently. That sunset over there is pretty, by the way. Lovely, pretty sunset. There's a lot less in the way of amusements, bars, stuff like that, immediately next to the beach. And we have got an amusement arcade down here, but aside from the one on the pier, this is the only one, I think. There might be some on the walk between Bournemouth and Boscombe. The fireworks tonight are at Poole, are they? Okay. So you'll be able to see them from here because Poole is just down there, isn't it? So you probably can't. I'm not staying down here until 10 o'clock tonight. I've got to drive home in the morning. It was a pleasure meeting you in Tesco Mansfield. Well, good to meet you as well. I remember that. I remember meeting someone in Tesco Mansfield. One other thing that's popped up since we used to come here regularly as a kid is all these beach bar things. The beaches just used to be beaches last time I checked, but they definitely are adding more of these things. There's one the other side of the pier and I think there's a couple this side. So that seems to be a new thing. Have I thought of going on a Disney cruise? We have. If I can spin the camera back round. We like the idea of doing it, but because we've never been on a cruise, and if you watched the Tenerife videos where I spent the 4.5 hours we were on a boat with my face in a bag, trying not to vomit, and Anna actually did vomit. We need to do a test cruise before we spend all that money on a Disney cruise, because they are like the most expensive way to do a cruise. You're looking at multiple thousands. So what we're hoping to do, and it probably won't be this year now, because I was looking at the calendar last night, because we're trying to fit in trips to Great Yarmouth and Blackpool, because I noticed on the analytics for the channel, two of the things that the viewers to the channel so far, two of their most searched for things, I don't know how they're leading them to the channel, but two of the most searched for things are Blackpool and Great Yarmouth. So we're planning trips to Blackpool and Great Yarmouth. Might not be able to fit both of them in. We've got Disneyland Paris coming up in less than a month. We've got the exciting thing that I've mentioned on Twitch a few times, which I am so close to being able to tell you about now, but that's going to take up a week. That takes up a week in September. I just don't know when we can fit it in, but we would like to just go and do one of these little 2 or 3 day cruises where you get on at Southampton and go to like Amsterdam and then come back, just to see how we are on a cruise. Lots of people have said that cruises in general, because they're massive boats, you don't really feel the boat moving. I don't know how much I believe that, but what I do know is I don't want to spend all that money on a Disney cruise and then find out that I get just as sick on a cruise ship as I do on a little boat going around Tenerife looking for whales and dolphins. I still never saw. I remember when I was a kid, we got the ferry over to France and I threw up all over the soft play area on the ferry. And ferries are quite big. So I think in general, I just don't do the sea very well. We shall see how we get on. Right, let's keep moving. You were sat on top of a bin there. Did you notice the smell? I don't think it was too bad. What's going on in the chat? Anna would love Orlando. It's definitely on the to-do list. I think when we do America, because neither of us have ever been to America, I think we're planning on doing a road trip, whether it'll be next year or not. Depends, I guess, on how the channel goes. Getting monetized as quickly as we have is a nice thing, but now we need a couple of million view months to make the America trip next year a reality. So it's probably not, but sometimes we've basically got 3 different US road trips planned. One East Coast, one West Coast, and then one where we basically go from San Francisco to New York along the top of the country, filling in all the gaps that we missed on the East Coast and the West Coast ones. So I think we've planned like a 30-day trip for the East Coast, 30-day for the West Coast, and then it's a 60-day trip for the last one. We'd like to do them in 3 consecutive years because I want to get them done before I'm too old and broken to enjoy them. If we do them next year, I'll be 42. Which means by the time we do the last one, I'll be 45. I feel like they're the kind of trips I need to get done before I'm 50. So we've got a couple of years to get started on them, even if we do one every couple of years. But I think rather than just flying to Orlando and doing 2 weeks at Disney, we're more likely to do these big trips where we see as much as we can in one go as possible, because we've both gone too long having never been. So we need to make up for it. 42 is the good age, it's the answer to everything, exactly. I'm not far from Harry Redknapp's house. No, Sandbanks is just down there, isn't it? And Poole Harbour. So just down that way, that bit that sort of sticks out a bit is Sandbanks. And then you've got Poole Harbour beyond it. So, yeah, should we go and knock on Harry Redknapp's door? See if he's in? He's probably in, isn't he? What else is going on down here? Orlando is amazing. I went before MGM was built. See, we'll definitely do it. But when we do it, we're probably only going to spend like 3 or 4 days in Orlando and just do the main parts. I think because US trips are so expensive and there's so much we want to see, like we both really want to go to Vegas, we really want to do New York, we want to go, there's lots we want to do, and we can't afford to just keep flying back and forth again. We're not on crazy YouTuber money, we're on small YouTuber who's found a way to make it full-time money. So yeah, one American trip a year is probably the most we're ever likely to be able to afford. So when we do them, we want to make them count. It's the flights that are the most expensive part. Hiring a car and getting hotel rooms sorted, much cheaper than the flights. So I think that's probably how we'll do it, rather than just going and doing 2 weeks in Orlando. As much as we like Disney, I don't think I could stomach dropping 10 grand just to do 2 weeks of going to Orlando theme parks. Watch us do that now. If Disney want to sponsor us for a trip like that, I'm up for that. What else have we got? Things to do before 50, great video idea. Oh, my list is long, so long, because I'm very aware of the fact that I'm a fat guy with high blood pressure. There's gonna come a point where I have a life-changing medical event of some kind, and I need to get everything done before then. So I am very aware I'm on the clock. Anna hates me talking like this, it's very morbid. But I'm certainly not of the attitude of leaving stuff until I'm in my 60s and 70s, because if I make it into my 60s and 70s, I'm probably not going to be in any kind of fit state to go to Disney World, is my guess. Who knows? I'm dropping weight all the time at the moment. I've lost loads of weight in the last year, so who knows? Maybe I'll stave off all the poorliness. But obviously Anna's back is disintegrating as well. So at the moment she's got her mobility scooter, but her back condition she was born with it. It's a degenerative back condition that is never likely to get any better. It's just going to carry on degenerating for the rest of her life. So mobility for Anna is going to get harder and harder and harder. So again, that's our incentive to do stuff sooner rather than later. I'd rather spend the money now on the big trips that we'll remember when we're old and wrinkly than scrimp and save now and then get to that point and have all the money taken off us to pay for our nursing home fees. Kev logic. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, yes. I also want to buy a motorhome as well to do the UK properly, because as much as I'm enjoying these little trips we've been on, we did Skegness 2 weeks ago, we've had a 4 nights down in the New Forest now, we're planning Great Yarmouth, we're planning Blackpool, so these trips are nice, but the cost does add up. Although none of them are massively expensive in isolation, obviously the price does start to add up. And I'm thinking for that kind of price, I don't know how much it costs to park up at a campsite in a motorhome, but I'm thinking probably if we're doing 2 of these trips a month from now on, like we have done this month, and we probably will next month, you're looking at not far off £1 a month on shenanigans. It wouldn't cost that much to finance getting a motorhome. So there's a lot going on. I need to talk to my accountant. I had a meeting with him this morning. I should have mentioned, if I buy a motorhome specifically for videos, is it a tax write-off? I need to know, because if I can write off a motorhome as a business expense, come on! I promise I'll only use it for business trips. Hire a motorhome. The thing is, that's so expensive. So expensive. We'd be better off buying one and then hiring it out to other people when we're not using it. That's something people do, isn't it? So if we were to buy one and then use it for, I mean, looking at how August has gone, we've had 2 3 or 4 day trips, and that's been enough to get a month's worth of content. So if we were to use it for 10 days a month, that's another 20 days a month where we could hire it out for someone else and recoup some of the money, but then risk it getting trashed. There's lots of thinking. Do they have motorhomes with dedicated FM offices these days? Oh, what's Anna? Is Anna in the chat? Anna's saying no. What's she saying no to? Hiring one out or buying one? As a larger individual myself, how roomy and comfortable are they for sleeping? Probably no worse than caravans at holiday parks. There's some pretty small beds. Me and Anna are in a very small bed at the moment. I'm not in bed at the moment. I'm next to a beach with a pretty sunset behind me. But soon I'll be in bed. Oh, Anna's saying we're not allowed to buy one. Look, Anna, I'm talking specifically to you now. if we can do it as a tax write-off, and effectively, rather than giving the money to the tax people, give it to the motorhome people, it's basically free. That's the only reason I would do it. Well, it's not the only reason I'd do it, but that would be the only way it would be affordable to do. And I don't know if you're allowed to do that. That's why I need to talk to the accountant. But if you are, if we can basically get it for free, why on earth would we not? Think of all the content we can make. We could travel around Europe. It would be amazing. Right, what else have we got going on there? I could pick you up for events, Topher. Anna is keeping an eye on me. Anna is back. Anna's like a 40-minute drive from where I am now. Plus, if I had to rush to Anna now, I'm an hour away because it's 20 minutes back to the car and then I've got to drive for 40 minutes. That's assuming traffic is good. Apparently there's fireworks over here tonight. And I don't know if you were in the stream before, but down there at Poole, there's fireworks. Look at that. Thumbnail. Maybe without the phone. What a thumbnail that is. You can buy a VW camper van. I was looking on a website called Quirky Campers last night, where someone had converted basically a home office camper van with air conditioning and Starlink and a place for dogs to sleep, everything you could possibly want. But it was £80,000. So I probably shouldn't buy that, should I? I need to have a drink, I'm not going to keep on talking. I bet that sounded good. Near you is a hill with goats on it. What, near where I am right now? I took an alpaca for a walk this afternoon. what a life I lead. It was amazing. Okay. My nan has a camper van. You pay 20k and it came with a kitchen, bedroom, everything you need. But that's not everything I need. I need a safe, I need air conditioning, I need a serious amount of solar, batteries, inverter to power all my gear. Signal is dropping a bit. Should we walk back down this way? Let's walk back down this way. Love the new channel and content. It's so nice to see you doing those trips. Absolutely. I mean, we always said, as soon as the kids had moved out of home, this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to travel. Obviously, we want to get back out and about abroad again, but it's not realistic to do that loads because it's so expensive. So filling it in with these little seaside nostalgia trips, it's a lot of fun. We've had a great week. And you need a lot of views for the money to afford it. Yeah, I know. Don't I know. Aircon in the vans themselves isn't standard, is it? Aircon in the cab is standard, but we would want aircon for when we're parked up as well, based on how hot we know caravans get. We would want aircon in the living area that we could just be running the whole time off of a massive leisure battery. Because quite apart from anything else, if we're like Tuesday, we spent all day at a theme park. So if we were down here in a motorhome, yeah, we could have driven the motorhome to the theme park and left it in the car park all day. But to then be able to leave Dave in it all day while we go to the theme park, we would need to have air conditioning in it. It's not just for our comfort, but it's to actually make it safe for Dave to stay in as well. Because one of the big considerations, one of the other reasons why we can't just gallivant off getting on planes, and I mean, the Benidorm trip we still really want to do, but we just can't get Dave in the kennels. You have to book the kennels Dave goes to, and we can't find another one local to us. Anna is on that tonight apparently, because there's a couple of other trips we want to do. Like when I'm down for the Southall game next week, it would be nice to be able to stay down there and go to Thorpe Park and tick off another theme park, but we just can't get Dave in the kennels at that kind of short notice. So one of the good things about these holiday park trips we've been doing is we can bring Dave with us. He's been loving it, and we get to have the trips, which is very snazzy too. Right, we're wandering back down to where I'm pretty sure signal is pretty good. Aircon is opening a window. Yeah, not in my world. It's not. And also, you can't open a window if you're leaving a dog in there all day, because he would get out of the window. Can you shout at my mum, Sonia? She's a massive fan. Hello, Sonia. How are you doing? I can guarantee in 1 week's time, we'll see a tweet. I bought a van. It won't be that. It won't be that soon. It won't be this year now, unless someone convinces me that you can buy them much cheaper in the autumn than in the spring and the summer, which I imagine you probably can. I imagine people use them from one last summer and then are ready to sell them on. But yeah, we're not. Cool. He was interested, wasn't he? He had a good old look. Nudged the lady as well. I've just seen car X's in the chat. Do I need to go back to the chip shop again so you can come and say hello again? He summoned my chips for me yesterday, which was very nice. Could your dad not have Dave while you're away? My dad has never had a dog. I've never asked him, but he's never had a dog, has never really spent any time with Dave, and lives over an hour away in the wrong direction, unless we're heading to the East Coast. So, not really. Or Lucy and Amy. Again, Lucy and Amy still live with their mum. So Lucy will be an option when she eventually moves out of her mum's house, which should be happening in the next year or so. But when she does, she's going to be very far away. I'm obviously not going to tell you where, but the Chapman clan are scattering geographically. It's dangerous for us all to be in one place. We're too important as a clan, so we're spreading out across the country to make sure that we're spread nice and thin and nobody can get us all in one go. That's the thinking. I'm not from Bournemouth. Mrs. Carr persuaded me the night before for us to take the baby to the beach. It was awesome to see you. Me and Anna were speculating this afterwards. This is just a conversation between me and Car X now. Were you in there eating? Or did you spot us from afar? Because we'd been sat down for a little while and you just appeared. And it's like, he must have already been in here. He's not followed us in off the road, has he? Has he? Because that would be weird. But we did speculate a little bit. So now I need to know. Oh, hold on. The chat has now disappeared. That's alarming. Can I imagine you riding a motorbike? I wouldn't ride a motorbike. I am too clumsy to ride a motorbike. I can barely drive a car. You're not going to catch me on a motorbike. I kind of want to sit down, but everything's still quite wet and very covered in sand. So maybe not. That man is digging a really deep hole or being buried. That's interesting. All right, let's head back this way a little bit. I'm tempted to go in the, oh, it's closed. I wanted to go in the oceanarium and see the penguins, but I guess that's not an option. We are coming up to the hour mark, I've just noticed, and it is going to start getting dark soon. So I probably want to be back at my car before it starts to get dark, because
how's the life going?
It's going very well, thank you.
How many viewers?
Just under 200, I think. My friends again, I should have told him. There's no fireworks here. Their instincts were correct. We were just leaving after having lunch. That explains that then. How much is it to go on the observation wheel? Not that I want to go on the observation wheel. Oh, you know what? Oh, actually, I thought that was a 3. It's £8 to go on there. £8. Do you think it's the London Eye or something? Goodness me. Right, we are going to start heading back through the park now. By the sounds of it, the loud music that was going on here before it stopped. So we can actually have a little look at this part, because Bournemouth is a strange place because it has this big road that just kind of goes over the top of this massive pedestrian area. It's quite a clever way of hiding the fact that it is in a town. The young lads are polite, aren't they? If we'd have been in Skegness, I feel like their language would have been different. But they were very polite, having a lovely evening. All right, so no music going on here now. What I'm hoping for, what would be a lovely way to end the stream, is if we can find some squirrels. I know this little bit in front of us often has squirrels in it, so we are officially on the lookout for squirrels. I've never come down for a holiday down in Bournemouth and not seen a squirrel, and so far I have not seen a squirrel on this trip, because, in fact, I haven't told you about this. Me and Anna were out yesterday and we got to as far as the chip shop and her scooter ran out of battery. So I had to, because we used it the day before and didn't charge it because we're idiots. So there'll be more details of this in the video when you see that in a couple of weeks. But I basically had to push her through the park. I got about halfway through the park and just couldn't push anymore because these things aren't meant to be pushed. So I then had to abandon her in a car park near the edge of this park, go and find the car, and then try and find the car park in the car to pick up her and the scooter. The lesson was, make sure you charge your mobility scooter. And I posted that on Instagram. Yeah, it was not good. I don't think we're going to see any squirrels. I'm sure it's this bit they're normally in, but I don't remember it being this overgrown. You always used to be able to see them. Maybe it's that bit through there. That looks like it's more likely. We're going around this way. We are going to find the squirrels, even if I have to sack Topher to make it happen. Ah, no, it's this bit. This is where the squirrels usually are. I was in the wrong bit. So, let's have a wander around here. There are almost always squirrels here, if we wait for long enough. I can't tilt the camera down. Oh, there you go. Are we planning on visiting the Isle of Wight on our travels? We were actually talking about that yesterday, because obviously you can see the Isle of Wight from Bournemouth Beach. It's definitely somewhere we'd like to go. I haven't been there for well over 20 years. We're basically touring around all the places I used to go to as a kid. A squirrel's a rare sight. Not really. They're just a fun sight. I like a squirrel. Yes, I'm going to AEW on Sunday. I'll be doing a vlog from there as well. Isle of Wight is a fantastic place to visit. I agree. I want to go to, what's the theme park called? Black Gang Chine, I think it's called. Want to go there. That's awesome. And also to the Needles and get some coloured sand. Rent an RV tour around the UK. Renting one costs more than buying one. They're so expensive. This is why I think we should buy one. But then I guess two minds about that, because if we buy a motorhome, then we've not got the videos reviewing all the accommodation we stay in. So like this trip down here, we're getting 4 videos out of this. We've got the accommodation review, we've got the theme park that we went to, we've got the Bournemouth video, we've got this stream, plus there's a 5th video that we, or a 4th video, a 5th piece of content that we made this afternoon out and about in the New Forest as well. So it kind of, especially now the channel is monetized, it will help to offset some of the cost of the trips. I'm not expecting it to cover the cost of the trips yet. I'm happy to make a little bit of a loss on this channel for now, but knowing I can get 5 pieces of content out of it does make it a little bit easier to justify doing, whereas the more we chop out those pieces of content, the harder it is to justify the trips, which, by the way, now the channel is monetized, there should be a join button. Probably shouldn't have left that an hour into the stream. Well, I guess it's the hardcore who are still here after an hour. So joining or becoming a channel member on YouTube works the same way as becoming a sub on Twitch. I think the cheapest level to join at is $2.99 a month. And it basically all just goes into the kitty to help fund these trips. There's a few little perks you get for doing it at various levels. Early access to content, behind the scenes stuff. But the main reason for doing it is it just helps the channel move closer towards being self-financing, which, although I'm happy to eat the cost for now, if we're still a year from now and we're going to get a loss on this channel, that comes a point where we have to be like, can we still justify all these trips that we're making a loss on? Like I say, it's not a conversation for now. We don't need to worry about it now, but the faster we get towards being self-sufficient, the better. Right, let's just check in on the chat one more time before we start to wrap things up. We could potentially do a subscriber meetup somewhere at Wembley, although Wembley is a very big place. There's going to be a lot of people there, so I don't know where we would do such a thing. I'll scout the area. I'm traveling down there tomorrow night, so I'll be in my hotel from tomorrow night. If I see anywhere that looks like a good location for a meetup, then we could potentially do that, yeah. Am I going to Bewley Car Museum? No, because I hated it as a kid. I went once as a kid. I did see the Batmobile, but I'm not a car guy, and it was one of the most boring days out we ever did. So no Bewley. We did do Paulton's Park Tuesday, which was a lot of fun, but no Bewley. Right, I'll stand you here because my arm is gonna fall off. Right, we are in the final throes of the stream, so if you've got anything else you want to ask, now is the time, because I'm wrapping things up. I'm just checking the last bits of the chat. Can you do a versus video, Kevin, Anna in the camper and editor Chris in the hotel? I mean, that would be amazing, but we'd have to get Chris a weekend release pass, which he's got many children, and it makes that challenging. He's not an empty nester like us. He's got a few more years to wait. Alan Bay, where you get the coloured sand. I thought the coloured sand was at the Needles. Certainly when I was a kid, we got coloured sand halfway down at the Needles bit, where you have the cable car, and then about halfway up there was a place to get coloured sand in a little Isle of Wight shaped thing. Is that not there anymore? That was cool. Which era Batmobile? It would have been, I guess it would have been the one from the late 80s movie, because it was mid-90s that I went, so it was probably that Batmobile. The sky behind me looks amazing. There's a reason I set the camera up here. This isn't my first rodeo. I was walking along looking at that thinking, oh well, there's a spot to end the stream. Please give my son Finley a shout out in Weymouth. He's a huge fan. Finley in Weymouth, hello, how you doing? Should we try and pose for another thumbnail with the background like this? I've already made the thumbnail. I don't need to be doing that. It's just YouTuber instinct. Match I'm most looking forward to on Sunday, the main event. Definitely the main event. Can't see Anna in a camper. I think she prefers comforts of a hotel. She enjoyed being in the caravan. Seriously, after we went to Skegness, she was talking about buying a caravan. And I did try and explain, if we're going to get a caravan, we need to at the very least get a touring caravan or a motorhome, because we can't just keep going back to the same place and remaking a Skegness video. We need to be able to go to lots of different places. Right, I think you can get sand at the Needles, there we go. Folks, I think we are going to wrap things up there. We've been live for over an hour. The rest of the content from this trip, like I say, it's going to be a week or two before you see it, because we've got Sunday, you'll have the Global Go Fest video, and then next Wednesday should be the all-in vlog, and then Sunday there's something else, I don't remember what, and then I think we get started on the New Forest. It might even be a week on Sunday that we get started with the content from this channel. Consider Saturday Rev Pro. I really can't. I've got to get a video out for Sunday. Now I'm back on the vlogging grind. I haven't got anything for Sunday, and the Go Fest one is very time sensitive. I want to get it out while Go Fest is still going on, while people are still searching for it. So I think I've got to work Saturday night. I've got to edit the video that I've made during the day on Saturday. But folks, we will wrap it up there. I've got to walk a little bit further up there towards more loud music and find my car, and then head back out into the New Forest to find Anna and Dave. And I had hoped to get Dave out for one more walk before it got dark, but looking at that sky and knowing I've got a half-hour drive, I don't think he's getting out for another walk today. But folks, thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. Obviously, it wasn't on the original scheduled live stream thing. I will shuffle it all around when I'm back at the cabin on my laptop, so I can actually do that. And fingers crossed, future live streams won't be as chaotic. I don't know what caused this one to not show up in the right place, but thank you for finding it. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a thumbs up on your way out. It is a super duper helpful thing, the most helpful thing you can do for what is still a new channel, even though we are now fully into the partner program, 24 days in. I should make a video how I got into the YouTube partner program in 24 days. It'll be a short. It'll just be, I already had like 250,000 subscribers on other channels. That makes it much easier. But thanks for watching, folks. If you don't already subscribe, make sure you do, and keep an eye out for all of the Bournemouth and New Forest videos coming out soon. Thank you very much. Toodle pip. Bye bye.